Welcome to Michelstadt. Thanks for joining us as we explore this beautiful medieval half-timbered village that's going to make you think like you've gone back in time. There's some beautiful buildings here. There's some great points of interest, and we're going to show them to you, and some delicious food. All right, welcome to Michelstadt. Let's go. All right, so this is the city fountain of Michelstadt, which was put here in 1575, and it's right in the main city square. On top is a statue of Saint Michael, which you would think that's who the city is named after. He is the patron saint of the city, but apparently that is not who the city of Michelstadt was named for. So you come in through this little alleyway, the Grosse Gasse, and you come here to the city fountain, and then turn behind you to my right, and you've got the old Rathaus, so the old city hall, which is the highlight of any visit to Michelstadt. It is an absolutely stunning, beautiful old building built in 1484. It has some enormous oak timbers that are supporting it up. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you look at a picture of Michelstadt, I almost guarantee you 95% of the time or more, it's going to feature the old town hall. It's an absolutely stunning building. But as we were walking up here today, down the Grosse Gasse, I heard several people in front of us. They would come in, turn to the left, and they would say, "Oh nine, oh nine." And because it is completely covered in scaffolding right now, you really can't see, you can't appreciate it at all how pretty it is, unfortunately. But it is a stunning building. You can walk up and look at it. You can tell it's absolutely gorgeous. The timbers are just really impressive. They're so thick. And you know what? That is just one of the things you got to deal with when you're traveling in Europe, especially in the off season. You know, like I said, this is the first day of February. So January, February are kind of months to get everything cleaned up, get everything fixed up and ready for when the tourists start coming later in the spring and in the summer. So, you know, one of those minor inconveniences of life. And, you know, if the Michelstadt Town Hall being covered up when you come visit is the worst thing that happens to you on your vacation, then you probably had a pretty good vacation. So, but it is stunning, and I imagine all the scaffolding is going to be gone. So the tourist information office is to my left, behind you. We walked in there, very nice lady, gave us some information. She spoke great English. She said the scaffolding will be removed by summer, by the time the tourists come. So yeah. She said April. She said scaffolding will be removed in April. Very helpful. And right across from the tourist information office is the highly recommended Schwarze Adler restaurant, Black Eagle. And on weekends, on Saturdays anyway, they do not take a midday break. So it's good information for you. Normally most restaurants take a midday break. They open for lunch, then they close in between lunch and dinner, but they're opened all day, especially on Saturdays anyway. So yeah, Michelstadt, it's a great time. It's a beautiful city, a beautiful little city. Tons of the little fairy tale looking houses with the timber framed houses. And I imagine later in the year, in the springtime, when they get all the flowers out and it's a bit warmer, it's got to be a fantastic place to visit. So Michelstadt, not far from Frankfurt, a great day trip from Frankfurt. All right, so when you come to the main square and you're disappointed about the Rathaus being in scaffolding, hopefully it's not when you come. But a couple of other points of interest here, right there, right behind me, that old, beautiful looking building, that is the Alte Apotheke, or the old pharmacy. I don't know exactly how old it is. Our literature doesn't say, but it's a very beautiful, striking old building with the red timbers. Now it is a cigar and whiskey shop, and right there is the Alte Schmiede or Alte Schmiede. Not sure which one it is, but that is the old blacksmith shop, and now it is I think it's a wine bar now. So right here on the main square, a couple of nice places you can check out. You can go inside or just admire them from the outside. Very, very beautiful buildings here in Michelstadt. All right, guys, welcome to Michelstadt. and we are stopped for our German tradition cafe and kuchen, cake and coffee, or coffee and cake, I guess. And Betty's having tea. She's breaking the rules a little bit, but so I have a little kinchin or a little pot of coffee, and we have this. Look at this thing, this delicious looking amaretto cappuccino coffee cake, I think it was called, but that just looked so pretty. We walked in the door and saw this cake and just had to have a piece. And we were recommended to come here by the tourist information office. They said it was a place to come. Cafe Seifert, I think it's called. Yep, Cafe Seifert here in Michelstadt. And let me try a piece of this cake. It looks excellent. That is delicious. Nice and creamy. It's got different layers of cake. If you can see that, it's got some nice cream in there. You can really taste the coffee and the amaretto actually, and it is really delicious. So Michelstadt is a really cute, one of those typical old medieval half-timbered villages. We just hopped on a train from Frankfurt, and from the Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof, it took us about an hour and a half, I think, to get here. And so we're going to show you, we're going to take around and show you some things. So we're here. Okay, so we're walking around the old town of Michelstadt, and absolutely beautiful. There's so many of these old half-timbered buildings around. And we walked up to this little farmhouse, I guess, and it looks like they sell eggs, Eier aus Freihandlung, which I believe means eggs from free-range chickens. But they also have jelly you can buy. And sometimes you'll see in Europe, you'll come to these small towns and they'll have these self-service kiosks to buy stuff. And if you saw our video from Andermatt in Switzerland last year, we bought some cheese from a self-service kiosk. But here we've got jelly. So and they've got different brands. It's mostly all some sort of apple jelly. And we have jelly, which I think to be plum, but I'm not quite sure. And they have amaretto.
It looks light to me.
Yeah, it does look kind of light. I'm not sure. So my German audience out there, if you know what that is, let us know. I'm not sure what that is. And we have amaretto Apfel and nectarine Apfel, apple wine. So I think we decided we're going to try something different because amaretto apple is something we've never had before. So I'm going to try this. We're going to take this home and put it on a piece of good German bread with some butter, and I bet it's delicious. And it's €3.50. And so I'm going to put it in the little, put my money in the little casa here. All right. And I would buy some eggs too, but they don't have any eggs. Maybe they're sold out, or maybe the chickens took a day off. I'm not sure. But anyway, amaretto apple vine here in Michelstadt along this beautiful lane. This is so cool. There's the old synagogue right here, right behind you to my right, and just a really cool old barn. So, all right, when you're in Michelstadt, stop by the self-service kiosk and get yourself some jelly, and I bet it is fantastic. All right, so this is the city wall of Michelstadt, and it's been here since 1395. Now, I'm sure it's not all of it is not original. It's been repaired, I'm sure, quite a few times over the centuries. But yeah, city wall since 1395, and this is the watchtower As far as I can tell, this is the only watchtower left because we walked around and this is the only one we've seen. But originally, these were every 50 meters along the wall. And of course, they protected the city, from invasions and things like fires and stuff like that. Now, back originally, the only way to get into the city was through the entryways, through the wall. There's one right behind you up here on my left. And there were a few of those you could come in to get into the city. But other than that, you had to either climb the wall or go through the city gate. So pretty interesting. There's a nice park here. A lot of kids were here playing earlier. It's a nice, cool but sunny winter day. So a great place to come and relax with the family. And this also, I believe, there's a bee market around here, and I guess they have a big bee festival. I think they raise a lot of honeybees around here, so they have a bee festival sometime later in the year, but really nice. And I can imagine in the warmer months it's probably a lot nicer, to be honest with you, but really beautiful. Having a great time in Michelstadt. This building, look how cool it is. Look at these old beams that are bending. Yeah, just really fascinating. So it was built in the 1500s, and this was the headquarters or housing or some sort of living quarters for the Zentmannschaft. Mannschaft means team, but I guess it was a regional military company. I don't know, maybe they were responsible for security in this area, in this region or something, but yeah, soldiers' quarters, I guess, but really cool. It's got these old crooked beams, really fascinating, and yeah, really nice house. Just strolling along this lane that kind of goes like right inside of the wall here in Michelstadt. There's a lot of these pretty houses. There's the synagogue is right there, actually, and the little self-service jelly station is right there as well. So yeah, it goes around the whole city. Really cool, and you can see a bunch of these buildings, but this one really stood out to us, really interesting and quite striking with the beam. This old building is a Denkmal, and Denkmal means it's like it has to be preserved. What's the word I'm looking for in English? I can't remember, but so a Denkmal is like a memorial type thing. So, and it has to be preserved in its original state, I guess. And the funny thing, I was reading the description about this. They don't have a description in English, which most of them do, but this one's only in German. And if I understand it correctly, Scheune mit Mistgrube von 87. So it's a barn with a manure pit. I think that's what it is. And it's from 1780. Pretty interesting. And it's kind of bowing out towards the street. And we're right along the interior of the city wall. And it's got its really cool old barn door. So yeah, it's interesting. It stuck out to us. And we wanted to stop and just check it out. And like I said, all the other buildings of significance that have a description, they have it in German and English. This one does not. So if any of my audience is German out there, let us know, is that correct? Is this a barn with a manure pit? Do I understand that correctly? Anyway, thanks for watching. We're having a great day. This is the Diebsturm, which means thief tower, and this tower was built in the 13th century, and it was used as the city prison for many centuries. The top, you see that half-timbered octagonal top up there, that's actually modern. That was added in like 1972 or something. It originally had a dome which collapsed in the late 1700s, but the tower itself is pretty intact from the original building, the way I understand it anyway. So it was the prison, and when it was used as a prison, originally there was no entryway on the ground floor. So prisoners, they used to hoist them up with a pulley to actually put them in to the jail. So they had no windows, they had no doors, they really couldn't see. There's some small holes, I guess, that let a little bit of light in, but I don't think it would have been a very nice place to spend your sentence in that tower. It's attached to the town wall, and right underneath this is the dried up old, what would have been the moat back in the medieval times. So very interesting as you coming into Michelstadt. You got this beautiful old building, the tower, and I think this is an old castle as well. So, all right, interesting points of interest in Michelstadt. Interesting points of interest. Doesn't really make much sense, I guess, but forgive me. So a nice point of interest here in Michelstadt.
What's he doing there?
Goodness, pouring us some apple wine. So apple wine is not only quite famous in Frankfurt, but also in the surrounding area. So Michelstadt, we're by train, it was like an hour and a half to get here. By car, I'm not sure. I guess distance-wise, I would guess we're probably
30 kilometers?
30,
I'm not sure.
maybe 50 kilometers away. I'm not really sure, which is about 30 miles. So it's still in the same region, and they still have a lot of the same specialties as you find in Frankfurt. So apple wine is very big here. Now we are in the Schwarzer Adler restaurant, and they have different wineries you can pick the wine from. So we asked for a recommendation. It's Kramer, Jumbo.
Wiedersehen.
They're open all day on Saturday, but they kind of close the kitchen during the middle of the day, which we didn't know. It opens up again at 5 o'clock, so in about 30, 45 minutes. But you can get soup and like appetizer type stuff all day long. And Flammkuchen, they also serve that. And so I have Kürbiscremesuppe, which is pumpkin cream soup. In Germany, this is really popular, especially in the fall time. And I kind of think this is a little late in the year to be getting pumpkin cream soup, but we still have it. I love pumpkin soup. It's one of my favorite dishes, especially in the fall. I look forward to pumpkin soup coming around. And Betty has, this is called Kochkäse. So it's some type of cheese, and this is a local specialty. I don't really know what it is. We haven't tried it, but it's a pretty tray. It comes with different cheese and vegetables and some pickled onions. So probably we would put that on there. But so I have some bread with the Kochkäse on there, and it's good. It's maybe like a cream cheese. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but it's very tasty. It's really nice, very nice appetizer.
Is that like what we had last night?
I think it is. Yeah, we had something similar last night in Frankfurt at a restaurant. I think this is better though, actually. And my pumpkin cream soup. I can't wait to try this. Oh wow, that's really good soup. I love pumpkin cream soup, and this is a good one. It's really good. Oh wow, that's good. And the bread, yeah. Oh yeah, this bread is. Look at that. Like I've told you before, Germany makes the best bread in the world. And this bread is just fantastic. Dip it in that soup. It's great. It's a really cold day outside. We've been outside all day, and to come in and have a nice bowl of soup. That's really good. So, Schwarzer Adler, kitchen closes during the day on Saturdays, but you can still come in and get a nice treat like this and some apple wine, coffee, and stuff like that. So, highly recommend it. Right, so now we are at the Rathausbräu, the town hall brewery, I guess you would say. And look at this, I have this schnitzel with Kochkäse and Bratkartoffel, or home fries you might call them. And so the schnitzel was baked in the oven with this Kochkäse on it, and it looks fantastic. Fantastic, delicious, so good. These Bratkartoffel, it's like the best Bratkartoffel, best home fries I've ever had. It's really delicious. And we have another dish of the Kochkäse. And so we got the bread, and the Kochkäse has the fennel in it, and we put these pickled onions on top, and it is really good. The Kochkäse is like a specialty of the Hessen region of Germany. That is very good. That's very tasty. Fantastic meal. The brewery, I got a Hefeweizen, and Betty got a dark beer, and the beer is excellent. The food is excellent. So when you come to Michelstadt, when you're looking for a place to eat, you cannot go wrong by stopping at the Rathausbräu and get yourself a nice meal and a good beer. It is fantastic. Really good. Thanks for joining us on this day trip to the charming city of Michelstadt, just a train ride from Frankfurt. Even though the famous Rathaus was covered in scaffolding, there was still plenty of history, beautiful architecture, and great food to make it a fantastic day. We hope this video helps you plan your adventures in Germany. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and consider subscribing. See you next time.